And we expect the Rooneys now. They're coming through the doors, so we'll show it to you. Art Rooney, Dan Rooney, and the new head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Mike Tomlin era, will officially begin here in just a matter of seconds.
I want to thank all of the people who participated in our process. I'm very pleased to introduce the next coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin.
It's a great honor to be a part of one of the most storied franchises in all of professional sports. We intend to make no bold predictions about what we're going to do. I promise that I'm going to be blue collar in how I go about this business, and we're going to work extremely hard. Got a great deal of respect for those that have come before me, and just look forward to maybe doing my part and maybe providing a shoulder for those that come after me to stand on.
His predecessors set a standard, and he has made that standard his own.
Hey, ain't nothing mystical about it. You guys make the plays. Make these plays tonight. Playmakers on three. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers. Let's go.
That's a lot of respect. You know that.
Likewise. Take care. No doubt.
The stage is set, a national audience in tow, and a win up for grabs to reinforce the standard of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go. Come get it. You know what it is. This one is in the history books. Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi everybody, welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missi Matthews. Monday's primetime victory over the Chicago Bears marked the 150th career regular season win for Coach Tomlin. He's now just the 20th head coach to do so in NFL history. It did take a fourth quarter, come from behind drive in the final 2 minutes to get the win, but it does move the Steelers within one game of first place in the AFC North. Let's welcome in Bob Pompeani, who's with Coach Tomlin, to break down Monday night. Bob.
All right, Missy, thanks very much. It is another win for Mike Tomlin. And first, Coach, I want to congratulate you on moving up the charts. I know you probably don't look ahead or look back. You're in the moment, but congratulations on win number 150. It puts you in some pretty exclusive company.
Man, I'm just extremely blessed, not only to work in this organization, in this town, but just the men that I've been able to do it with over the years. They deserve the credit, man. I'm just so appreciative of the opportunity. And not only that, like I mentioned after the game, I'm just really appreciative of those that have come before me that provide a standard of expectation, that challenge me and us in the ways that we're challenged, trying to uphold a standard that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's an awesome thing.
You often talk about correcting issues because no matter who you are, no matter how successful you are, there are issues in game. It's easier to correct when you win. You've now won 4 in a row, but I'm sure there are things you'd like to improve upon. What would be on that list?
You know, looking back at the game, I thought we took a step back in terms of controlling the line of scrimmage. I thought the Bears in their defensive front won the line of scrimmage. And you got to give them credit. Guys like Hicks and Goldman and Raekwon really played big ball for them. It's good to make that acknowledgement while you win, as you mentioned. But we took a step back, and from time to time that happens. We just got to push forward. We got to learn from that exposure. We got to make necessary corrections, whether it's individually or collectively, from a cohesion or a schematic standpoint, and keep pressing.
Well, one guy who has certainly stepped up his game, actually 2 on defense, the 2 you rely upon heavily, T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward. I mean, TJ's putting out some numbers that are, you know, at their upper echelon with Hall of Famers. 60 sacks already. He had 3 the other night, 3 tackles for losses. I don't know what else you can say about the guy other than he is a game wrecker. He is. He's in that small collection of guys that perennially are in strong consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. We've seen some of them. Myles Garrett, recent weeks, but TJ is firmly entrenched in that conversation. In my opinion. I get the pleasure of seeing him every day and up close, and so I have an appreciation that maybe others don't. But he's extremely talented. He's extremely detailed and driven. His football intellect is on the ceiling. He just simply checks all the boxes, and when you do that and you're in your mid-20s, you have an opportunity to control football games, and we get an opportunity to witness that just about week in and week out from him. You drafted Cam Hayward. You've watched Cam Hayward. How do you explain a guy in his early 30s getting better with age like he has done? It's remarkable to watch because typically this is the time where you see guys take major steps back, not him.
You know, he just lives it all day, every day, and not only over the course of the 6 or 7 months that is the season, but anybody that's familiar with us, they know that guy's walking the halls of this building 12 months a year. He conditions himself first and foremost. He's all in on everything, and I just think that you create your fortune. This is a guy that's gained snap experience over the years, has developed his skill, is highly conditioned, is ridiculously consistent because of those things, and so he's a great blueprint for young players, not only in terms of what you do day to day in the building in preparation for games, but what you do over the course of a 12-month calendar.
And in the course of a season, you do see some weird things like his interception and then the celebration which followed. And also, I don't know if you know this, but Chris Boswell recovered a fumble. It's the first kicker to recover a fumble since 20 years ago when Chris Brown did it. And I got to be wondering if you're there watching, that ball came right to him. I wonder what he was thinking on that play.
You know, Boz fashions himself as an athlete, and it's good that he has an opportunity to ante up and kick in those ways. We're appreciative, but we're appreciative of his day job. He banged 2+ 50-yarders. He also banged the game winner. Can't say enough about him and his level of consistency and his desire to deliver for us in those heavy moments. Some people run away from those moments. Some people run to those moments. He's a guy that, since he's been here, has consistently been one that runs to those moments, and we're appreciative.
And Ben Roethlisberger moved up the charts too with 50 fourth quarter game-winning drives, tying Tom Brady, but 4 behind Peyton Manning. Tell us about the way that game ended. It certainly was not the way you wanted it, I'm sure, but that final drive that set up Boswell for the win.
You know, right about the time they scored their touchdown, I looked up at the clock and I saw we had about 150 or so left in the game, and I was thinking, boy, that's too much time to leave 7. We got one of those guys. You know when you got one of those guys. I've seen him deliver in those moments so many times over the years. I don't take it for granted, but I do expect it. And I know that he does. He relishes those moments. He really does. He was in complete command. He orchestrated the drive, delivered us down the field for the game winner.
And that means 4 wins in a row. And the Steelers will try to go for 5 in a row. Another home game coming up against the Detroit Lions. When we come back, we'll delve into their situation. Coming off a bye week, so it could be a dangerous situation to be in. We'll talk with Coach Tomlin about that and more when we continue. Right now, let's send it back over to Missy.
Thanks so much, Bob. Throughout the Steelers' current winning streak, it has been the defense making huge plays down the stretch. But on Monday night, it was the offense's turn to close things out. As Coach said following the game, that's what makes team sports so great. According to Next Gen Stats, TJ Watt's 6% sack rate this season is the highest in a single season since they began recording that stat. And as it turns out, Lions right tackle Matt Nelson ranks 3rd in the NFL in quarterback pressures allowed. Don't go anywhere. The 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. Are you 84 Lumber material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
Jared Goff is still searching for his first win as Detroit's starting quarterback. And for rookie head coach Dan Campbell, he still sits winless as well. Now on paper, the 0-8 Lions may look like an easy team to beat, but they have proven they are anything but. Just ask any Ravens fan. Let's send it back over to Bob and Coach to talk about Goff and company. Guys.
All right, thanks, Missy. Coach, let's talk about Detroit. This is a winless team. They're coming off a bye, and they have been in some games. I don't know, the message you send your players. We've seen some weird happenings in the NFL over the last several weeks. That's just the nature of it right now. How dangerous of a game is this from your point of view?
It's no more dangerous or less dangerous than any other stadium we walk into, to be honest with you. That's life in the National Football League, man. This is the ultimate parity league. There are no FCS opponents or no group of 5 opponents and no homecoming games. This is a group that's been beat up by the process a little bit, but they're professionals. They got talent positionally across the board, got a lot of respect for their coaching staff. They've had a week to prepare, a down week oftentimes, man, particularly when you're in year 1 of a program, the way they're in year 1 of the program. it's really an opportunity for them to assess where they are and recalibrate and make some adjustments. We're expecting somewhat of the unexpected, but at the same time, there's some very tangible and fundamental things that they do and do well on tape that we have to be prepared for as well. So, we're preparing with the edge that we always do. I get in settings like this or in press conferences, and I say that every week, but I doubt that people that aren't a part of this believe what I say. I get that. But in the NFL, man, week in and week out, you better respect those you compete against because, man, it's just football at the highest level.
The Lions made a big trade, sending Matt Stafford out west. They got Jared Goff. Goff's career started in an amazing way. He lost like 7 in a row. Then he got it together, ended up in the Super Bowl. When you look at him, can you talk about the ups and downs he's gone through, and when he's on, what makes him difficult to defend?
I think more than anything, he's just continually adjusting with the eligibles that he has to work with. He's had really consistent contributions at the running back positions in the form of Swift, in the tight end position in the form of TJ, and those are security blankets for him. They're high volume catch guys. Swift is one of the top backs in terms of receiving in the game. TJ is one of the top receiving tight ends. They've had less stability at the wide receiver position. They lost Kenny Galladay in free agency. Cephas is injured. And so they've had some turnover at that position, and they're discovering themselves at that position. And I think more than anything, he's working primarily with those that he has a rapport with or those that have been consistent contributors.
They are a team that has given up some points. They've also at times given up yards. I'm wondering about your run game now. This is 4 straight games that Najee Harris has gone over 20 carries, which hasn't happened, I don't think, since maybe Le'Veon Bell was in here. Is that the way to attack their defense, or what does their defense do when they're on their game that make it difficult to play against?
They mix things up. Got a lot of respect for Aaron Glenn, man, their coordinator, particularly his ability to mix things up on the back end from a coverage standpoint on possession downs and in situational football. They're fundamentalists on those 1st and 10, second and medium circumstances. The bottom line is we have to execute, man. If you don't get hats on hats, if you don't sustain blocks, they got the type of people, man, that can create havoc. Brockers is a big body up front that's capable of doing that. Can't say enough about Charles Harris, who's providing quality edge play for him. At the linebacker level, there's been some turnover there. Jamie Collins was the original player for him, and they're playing some more people there. But their safety tandem is rock solid. Those guys have been together, drafted for a number of years there now. They got real continuity there. They've had some change and turnover because of injury at corner. And so you see some of the ramifications of attrition that happens in our game. Some of the things that we deal with, we all deal with it. But I think they do a really good job of being fundamental on 1st and 2nd down, and they got some really challenging schematics and situational ball.
One final thing, I know Goff, when he's on, he can go down the field, and he's got some guys who can make plays. Your defense in the last couple of, even in wins, have given up some bigger plays later in games. Is that a concern for you? And I know that, over the course of the season, depth becomes an issue. How do you look at your secondary and some of the results that have happened there?
It's concerning, but, you can find things that concern you every week, man. That's why they keep scoreboards, man. These offenses and the nature of these things in today's game are challenging. We just got to continue to be fundamentally sound, do a good job of communicating, and make sure our eyes are in the right place. There's often a very tangible reason why. It doesn't make you feel better, but it's not anything that's mystical. Man, it's fundamental. We got to continue to work individually and collectively to keep working and gaining the type of cohesion that'll minimize some of those things.
Steelers will be trying to get to 6-3, going after a 5th straight win. That happens this Sunday at Heinz Field against the Lions. We'll have Coach's final take on the keys to this game coming up a little bit later. Missy, let's go back over to you.
Thanks, Bob. And Detroit should be well rested following their Week 9 bye. But don't worry, the Steelers have won their last 5 matchups against such opponents, including a 20-15 win in 2017. That was actually the last time they played the Lions. Still to come, I go one-on-one with rookie tight end Pat Freiermuth, who is quickly becoming a fan favorite.
They started chanting it, and I was it was low, it was barely like any people, and I was kind of confused, but caught on pretty quick. It gives me energy after making a catch, and I love it.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
8 games into his rookie season, Pat Freiermuth is becoming a go-to target for Ben Roethlisberger on third downs. In terms of possession downs, he has 12 catches on 13 targets, 3 of them going for pay dirt. I had a chance to sit down with the tight end that many are drawing comparisons to, one of Ben's former favorite targets in this week's 101.
Fires for the end zone, back shoulder fade, touchdown! Pat Freiermuth took it away from the defensive back. Gets the snap, 4-man rush. He pumps, he shuffles, he looks, fires for the end zone, touchdown! That is Pat Freiermuth with his 3rd of the season, 3rd of his career. Woo! Move! Yes, sir!
Pat, I want to start. Were you ever called Muth before you came to the Steelers?
I was not. I was called Baby Grunt, but I like Muth a lot better.
When is the first time you heard the fans like chanting it where you're like, wait, are they talking about me?
Camp, I think one of the times I caught the ball, they started chanting it, and I was it was low, it was barely like any people, and I was kind of like confused, but caught on pretty quick, and I like it.
What about during games? Are you noticing it? Is it kind of just something that's just there now?
I definitely notice it. It gives me energy after making a catch, and I love it.
All right, you scored a touchdown against Cleveland.
Touchdown, Pittsburgh! Pat Freiermuth, the Penn State rookie.
2 against the Bears. Does that mean we get 3 this week?
Hopefully it's whatever's in the game plan, I hope, so we'll see.
Do you have a favorite touchdown so far?
Have
some pretty ones.
Obviously, the Monday night one was pretty cool, the second one. But I like the Cleveland one just because I like scoring in the way opponents, and especially with the Browns fans, they're pretty ruthless and hate us. So it was cool to kind of see their reactions and stuff like that. So it was cool. That was probably my favorite one so far.
When you came here, how did you find out, or how did you get your locker next to Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah, so I walked in, and I think it was Pat, and they kind of were like, "Oh, your locker's over here," and we're walking over, and he was like, "Oh, this was requested by 7," and I was like, "Oh, wow." So that's how I kind of found out, and it was pretty cool, obviously, to have my locker next to a future Hall of Famer and great guy that Ben is, and so I definitely enjoy it.
How does that help you, just knowing that he's right there and you guys probably see each other multiple times a day, other than outside?
Yeah, it helps a lot, obviously, in the locker room. We were able to talk about things that maybe have happened at practice or things that we see. It's just kind of an extra space for us to talk about what happens on the practice field or the game plan or something like that, and obviously just to get to know each other and just continue to build that relationship.
Matt Canada said that one of the things he thinks is accelerating your relationship and maybe the continuity with Ben is that, at practice, Ben likes to throw the ball maybe in places you don't think it's going to test you. Do you think that has helped?
Oh, absolutely. I remember the first time in OTAs that he was here, he was throwing me footballs all over the place, and I thought I was messing up or anything like that because I wasn't catching them, and Ebron was kind of like, hey, he does that to see your, where your range is and all that kind of stuff. So ever since I kind of knew that, it helped a lot, and it helps kind of see where we're at and where he can put it, where I can get it.
In terms of Heath Miller, did you know as soon as you were drafted by the Steelers that it was going to be the comparisons?
Not really, to be completely honest, no. Obviously I knew what Heath was because, I was a Patriots fan growing up and all that kind of stuff, and he dominated us and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't know there was going to be much comparison at all. I think the first time that, I was compared to him was when people started talking about this was the first tight end that they drafted that high since, Heath. So that was kind of the first comparison that I've thought or saw, but no, not really.
And you can catch my full interview with Freiermuth right now on the Steelers YouTube page. Well, Pittsburgh is looking to extend its winning streak to 5 games tomorrow at Heinz Field. And in 9 of the previous 10 meetings, the Steelers have beat the Lions. So to find out how they can maintain their winning ways, it's time now for our Keys to the Game presented by your neighborhood Ford store. Let's send it back over to Bob Pompeani and Coach Tomlin.
All right, Coach, let's talk about offensively first. You guys have not gotten to 30 points yet, and I know at some point you'd like to do that. What are the keys for you offensively against this Detroit team?
We need to continue to do some things that we've done well, and at the top of that list is maintain possession of the ball. Our ball security has been excellent largely during this run that we've been on offensively. Now, we've turned it over some in the special teams game, but offensively, we've done a really good job there. We need to continue to grow from a penalty standpoint. The penalties is what's slowing us down, man. When we get behind the chains, it's a drive killer. We've experienced that some. We've taken appropriate action in terms of how we're preparing. We bring officials in to man our practices in an effort to raise the floor in that area. We're going to continue to do that in an effort to get the desired result that we need. We didn't necessarily get it on Monday night. We were still relatively highly penalized in that area, and so we still have some work to do.
Yeah, your offensive line still, we talk about this weekly, but young guys, baptism by fire. Overall, how you look at their performance here moving forward?
I'm still encouraged, man. They're continually getting better. Again, like I mentioned, Monday night collectively, I think you can acknowledge it was a step back, but oftentimes you take a step backwards as you move forward. Largely, their trajectory has been on the incline, and I think it's reasonable to expect that to continue. They're quality young people. They work hard. They're football men, and we try to put them in a good environment that's conducive to that.
All right, when you attack Jared Goff in that offense, what are you looking to do most?
More than anything, we got to minimize the yards after contact in the running game and after catch in the passing game. They got a quality backfield tandem in Swift and Williams. Williams in particular is a one-cut runner that's deliberate, that gets a lot of yards after contact. We got to do a good job of getting off blocks and tackling to minimize that. We can't allow small throws to become big throws in the passing game. In particular, their screen game with Swift is very dangerous. We've given up a few plays in the screen game thus far this year, so that will have our attention and preparation, and particularly as we push into play and we get into the stadium. We can't let small plays become big plays due to negligence in those areas.
It's all about protecting the house. The Steelers looking for another win at home. They'll take on Detroit tomorrow, and if they win, it does get to a 6-3 record. Coach, thanks very much, and best of luck against the Lions.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for our program today. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next Saturday night. Thanks for joining us here for the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin program. On behalf of Coach Tomlin and Missi Matthews, I'm Bob Pompeani. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday night.